We'll be baking jam tarts today. They're a super easy British tea time treat, loved by kids and adults alike. You'll need a muffin baking tray and a cookie cutter with a rim that's the same size or slightly larger than the muffin cups. First step then is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 180 degrees Celsius, and to grease the baking tray. Now this recipe calls for caster sugar. If you don't have this at home, you can make your own by putting granulated sugar through a food processor or a blender for a few pulses. It just needs to be a fine consistency that granulated sugar doesn't have. We then beat one egg in a small bowl. Some of it is going to be used in the dough while the rest of it is used as a pastry glaze. Next step, in a large bowl, add in 2 cups of plain flour, 1/3 of a cup of caster sugar, and a pinch of salt. We're going to mix these ingredients together, all the dry ingredients, before we add the butter. We're then adding in butter, so we have 2/3 of a cup and it's cold butter. For a good short crust pastry, the butter, it really needs to be cold. What I've done is I've cut it into small cubes just to make it easier to work with. This process takes a few minutes and you'll find the heat from your hands will actually warm the butter and it softens and it will become pliable. The mixture should start to resemble breadcrumbs, at which point you add in half of the beaten egg mixture. As you're pulling together all of the ingredients, squeeze the dough as you handle it to create that dough ball. Next, prepare the surface you're going to use for rolling out the pastry by sprinkling a light dusting of flour. If you're not going to be using the pastry straight away, you can cover it in cling film and store it in the refrigerator. It is actually easier to handle pastry that has been in the refrigerator for a while, so it's something to bear in mind. The next step is to roll out the pastry to 1/4 inch thickness. So once the pastry is at the required thickness, you're going to cut out 12 pastry cases you need to fill your baking tray with. You can use the scraps to form into a new dough ball and roll out again until you've got all the pastry cases that you need. Using a pastry brush, you now need to lightly apply the egg glaze onto each one of those pastry cases. On to the final step. Spoon in the jam into each pastry case. I find that 1 teaspoon is sufficient. Any more than that and there is a chance that the filling will spill over during the baking process. I've opted for a strawberry and an apricot jam for this video, and you can use any jam of your choice. Baking takes 15 to 20 minutes. and this varies slightly from oven to oven. But the tarts are ready when the edges are a nice golden brown. Once the tarts are out of the oven, allow them to cool for 10 minutes before serving. I hope you enjoyed this recipe video. Thank you for watching.